Hey, what's going on, good people? Armand Owens here once again with you with the daily unsung leadership nugget, and today I got a story for you. Got a story for you. So back in the early '90s, for my submarine peeps, when I was on my first submarine, the USS Oklahoma City, I had a mentor by the name of Tyler Ramsey, who to this day I'm still living off the encouragement and the principles that he gave me as a young sailor. One of the cool things about Tyler was that he understood how to motivate me. He understood how to move me. He knew what how to put his word patterns together to get to elicit a response out of me, to say the least. But so we would stand and watch together, and we would talk about qualifications. And one of the qualifications at the time that was a pretty big one was chief of the watch. And I was a third class petty officer, and up until then, no one had qualified on that boat as a third class petty officer, chief of the watch. And we were talking about, and I, being arrogant like I used to be. I told him, yeah, it'd be pretty easy to qualify chief of the watch. I'm here all the time. I just got to get time in the chair. I could do that. And he bet me that I would not be able to qualify, chief of the watch as a third class petty officer. And I immediately went to work, and I quickly realized that this task was extremely daunting, because while I qualified submarines and got through that process, this was a whole nother picture. This was not just merely understanding the submarine, like the the submarine qualification process. This was mastery. This was dominance, essentially, over every facet of the submarine, and it required a lot more time. And I jumped right in. I was quickly overwhelmed, and I almost quit. And then I just decided that I was not going to, I was not going to rush the process. Talking to another good mentor of mine, who was an officer at that time, he said, just slow down, just take it step by step, signature by signature, system by system, break it down, understand it one piece at a time. And over time, of just daily committing an extra 15 to 20 minutes to to learn, to gain more insight, to gain the signatures and the knowledge that I needed, over the course of that year, I was able to get done. But I lost a bet. I didn't get qualified as a third class. I was a frocked second class when I finally got qualified. So technically, by pay I was a third class, but by rank I was a second class. So I lost a bet, but I still was able to get done. And I took that principle and applied it to a lot more things that I decided to endeavor in. And little did I know, that this principle had a name. The Japanese call it the Kaizan principle. It's essentially, instead of trying to attack the elephant and eat it all in one sitting, you slowly, systematically eat the elephant, and at some point it's going to be gone. Um, Kaizen, the principle actually started after World War II, as the American manufacturers were getting more active and putting more effort into reestablishing, our manufacturing prowess, and and no longer focusing on weapons and things of that nature. And we America used it to help Japan with their manufacturing as well. Well, we traded the Kaizan technique in American manufacturing for rapid innovation, right? We wanted things that happen quickly. We wanted things that happen, big. What's the greatest thing that we can do to make to have the grandest effect? And we went away from the Kaizen technique, and Japan kept with it as they developed the Toyota, and they applied the Kaizen technique to the Toyota. And we know what the dominance of the Toyota Camry, in the '90s and in the 2000s, in the car market, as far as quality, how long the cars are going to last, and things of that nature. So they use it to perfection. And one of the main reasons why this is relevant for us, because as we're trying to become, better leaders, better people, whatever the case may be, it is very easy for us to want all this to happen right now. Even if we want to improve our health, our physical prowess, we go to the gym, really hard for 2 weeks and do it up and think that that's going to make a huge difference, when that's not going to get us the results that we're ultimately looking for. And I challenge you to just focus on 1%. Just take whatever goal you have, whatever thing you want to do, whether it's you want to become a more effective leader, you want to become, in better shape, you just want to become, a better person, a better husband, a better spouse, whatever the case may be. I just want you to focus on 1%. 1%. Figure out what your goal is, and every single day, try to get 1% better at it. If that means, you are trying to learn a new trade, trying to learn a new skill, you read 10 pages of the book you're reading. You look at, 30 minutes of, the course that's associated with it, but taking it in small, bite-sized steps. 1%. And I know you may be thinking about 1%. What is that going to do? Well, I will tell you, over the course of a year, 1% a day compounding equals 3,800% better. 38 times better, just by focusing on 1%, just by looking at 1%. And you can apply this across multiple areas, where it's your emotional health, your mental health, your physical health, whatever the case may be. Choose who you want to be, in a year, and just break it down 1% a day, 1% a day, 1% a day. And one thing that this is going to require, one area of focus is this is going to require, is that you have to be mindful of your conscious awareness, right? Because I want you to write this question down. Is what I'm doing moving me towards my goal or further away from my goal? Because a lot of things that we do day in and day out are automations, and it comes to suit us. And a lot of times when we're trying to implement a change, our nervous system senses that as pain, and our brains are trying to keep us away from pain, right? So ask yourself, is what I'm doing moving me closer to my goal or further away from my goal? Or you can put it like this: is what I'm doing right now moving me closer to the type of person that I want to be, or further away from the type of person that I am trying to be? Bring that question to your conscious awareness, because it is important that you ask yourself and you check yourself. All right, when you're sitting down and watching Netflix or playing too much, and I'm not saying not do those things, or you're playing 2K, and I'm not saying don't do those things, right? But you want to make sure that the question, when you ask yourself that question, that moving forward towards those goals is more than moving away, right? So trying to get that 1% better, right? Did you take time every single day, to do a little bit? If you're writing, are you writing a page a day or 5 pages a day, or whatever goal you have set for yourself? Not trying to write the novel in a day, not trying to solve the world's problems in a day, but what can you do on a small scale that can ultimately get you to that point? 1% a day, 38 times better over the course of a year. Imagine who you could become in a year if you committed to just 1%. Just 1%. You can be the leader that you want to be. You can be the husband that you want to be. You can be the father that you want to be. You can be the spouse that you want to be. You can be the teacher that you want to be. You can be the engineer that you want to be. You can be whoever you want to be. 38 times better, all for a 1% trade-off a day. 1% trade-off a day. That's all it takes. That's all it takes is what you're doing moving you closer to your goal or further away from your goal. You have to make sure you take ownership of your conscious awareness and the things that you're doing from day to day, right? And focusing on making sure that you hit that 1%. 1% a day. That's all. That's all I'm asking. All I'm asking. 1% a day. 3,800% better. 1%. Just imagine what you could, where you could be in a year, where you could be in 6 months, right? Because it compounds over time, and you might not even recognize yourself, after the course of a year, after applying just 1%. The small things do matter. Unsung leader. Out.